to infinity and beyond.
Everybody, it's Roger and James here from Infinity and Beyond and DisKingdom.com. In this episode, we're going to be discussing some of our predictions for the upcoming E3 event. In this episode, we're going to be just talking about the Disney side of things. So, we're doing Star Wars and Marvel in another episode. We'll also be doing some other predictions over the coming weeks ahead of the show. So, first off, predictions. So, let's get this one straight at the back. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3. My predictions are going to be during the Square Enix show, they will give us a new trailer or footage, a couple of new images, and say it's coming in 2018. That's my flat out. There is not coming this winter.
I'd say 2018 might even be optimistic. It might be a 2019 release. We will see something for it. You know what we're probably going to see? We're going to probably see Kingdom Hearts 2.9, 620 by 4 days, birth by Nightmare or something like that. That'll be whatever to tide us over until 3.0 comes out, even though that's what 2.8 was supposed to do. Yes. 2018 would be ideal. Yeah. But I'm too pessimistic on it. I'm going to say 2019 is probably when we can expect to see Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Having had 2.8 and 1.5 or 2.5 re-released this year, there's been a lot of content. This year they're sorted. They've been fine. I'll be honest, I have actually been playing Kingdom Hearts 2 this week after finishing Breath of the Wild's main story, so playing for a bit of that. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts, I'm not holding out any hope of seeing anything. I would love to see a new trailer, some new gameplay footage. I think they're going to need to, keep it going. But I think they said Dating's Final Fantasy VII remake have been pushed way back. So that was kind of like early Kingdom Hearts. I don't think we're going to see any new. That'll be the next big release from Kingdom Hearts now.
Now, we might get like a reveal of what one of the kingdoms is going to be, though, because like at D23 2 years ago, we found out about Big Hero 6. We might find out that, I don't know, Zootopia is going to be one of the kingdoms, or Frozen. I don't know if they've already I don't know if they've already confirmed Frozen or not, but they'd be stupid not to do that one. Yeah. And again, we've got another D23 coming up this year in July, and I expect that will be where most of the Kingdom Hearts news actually comes in. But no power disc this year.
I think Kingdom Hearts is definitely, it will be mentioned, and there will be something given to us to tide us over, but there isn't going to be a huge amount. So that's the Kingdom Hearts side, and I think that's kind of the main thing. Cars 3, Driven to Win, is out the week after E3 or the week of E3, so I suspect it will be on the floor. There might be new trailers announced. But it will be very much last ditch kind of last bit of promotion. So there's not going to be nothing new there because the game is literally going to be a few days, if not out by then. So that's definitely going to be part of the E3. But I would not be surprised if they came out and said what their next project is that the Avalanche team is working on. I don't know if it's Coco. I don't know if they could be doing that. Maybe they're doing some of the Moana playset that they've been sorted out. Whether or not Pirates of the Caribbean. I was trying to wrap my brains of like what other franchise movies are, because I think Toy Story they're going to hold off for Toy Story 4. Wreck-It Ralph they're going to hold back for Wreck-It Ralph 2. Frozen's going to be held back till Frozen 2. Whether or not there's a overlapping like Disney game featuring lots of different characters, something like Disney Universe or something like that. But I was thinking Coco is at maybe slightly higher, or doing something with some of the content that was set to come to Disney Infinity that they could flip. I wouldn't be surprised if Moana was flipped for Christmas, if that was out this winter, and they use some of that content that they've created, or even a Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm just trying to think of what other movies they were bringing out this year, but I think
you don't really need to look specifically at movies coming this year. You can also look at movies coming next year, because even if they announce something now, it doesn't necessarily mean that anything's coming out until the movie comes out. Out of all the franchises that they've got coming to movie this year and next year, Pirates of the Caribbean would be one of them, especially maybe a Lego Pirates of the Caribbean sequel.
Yeah.
And The Incredibles. The Incredibles 2 is out next year in June. I could absolutely see them at least announcing that there will be a tie-in project. Maybe no details about it, either at E3 or at D23. Just being like, yes, we've got an Incredibles 2 game in the works. It'll
Yeah.
cover the space between Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2 or, something like that. Because with how popular superheroes are and how relatively easy superheroes are to translate into video games. Plus, they already had the first Incredibles playset.
And they've also got all the superhero content from the Marvel stuff from Disney Infinity in that engine that the Avalanche team have got. So they've got a lot of the video, that kind of superhero-esque content to flip that game, and they still got another year. But I would imagine that there'll be another Disney release around the holiday season of some kind.
Right.
My prediction, I think Coco would be. I still think they're going to do something with that Moana or Pirates of the Caribbean content to kind of tie it over. Whether or not that's kind of the Avalanche team that team are working on. As far as like Lego teams, it would not surprise me if we saw a new Lego Disney. I don't think we're going to see a Star Wars one announced yet. I think they're going to have to hold on to next year for The Last Jedi. I think if we were going to have a Rogue One game, it would have already been announced to be coming out in June, July. So I don't even know if that will be announced. It wouldn't surprise me if there's another Lego game announced for the winter. I think Lego Dimensions, obviously, that isn't happening. There's been reports from Dan over at Bricks to Life was saying even Lego's website have removed the Dimensions from their store. So that's kind of how. So whether or not we see a Disney franchise, like you said, Pirates of the Caribbean, I think Frozen. I'm going to say Frozen's going to be held back till Frozen 2 comes out. Say anything like that. I can't see them doing a generic Disney Lego game because I think franchising separate ones makes more sense from them. Again, Coco, I don't think it doesn't feel like it's strong enough to kind of hold a game at the moment.
Now you could do, rather than say like a Disney general game, you could do a Pixar general game, something that deals to a degree with like Wall-E Land and the Good Dinosaur Land and stuff. Do I actually think that that's plausible or probable? Probably not so much, but it is something they could take a look at. No, I think more likely, rather than worrying too much about like the current franchise stuff, because Wreck-It Ralph 2, Frozen 2, etc., I think you're right, most of those are going to get held off till next year. With the Disney Afternoon collection, with the Sega Genesis re-releases, I think we'll more likely see them looking backwards and taking a look at that back catalog for more titles from that classic era that people remember fondly, and getting some more of those collections out, especially with the Switch Virtual Console popping up.
I think like as far as like re-releases, like you're saying, we got backwards compatible with the Xbox 360 and stuff. So whether or not we saw like they did with the Harry Potter one, maybe filling out this year with a Indiana Jones collection, a re-release, release them on the Switch probably not be too difficult, but I also can't help but wonder what were the plans for Season 3 of LEGO Dimensions from the story packs. Are they going to then be just upgraded to full solo games? Maybe do release 2-3 games from whatever they were working on because they've maybe made 6 or 10 levels and they can fill it out. So whether or not Disney was part of that plan. There's also, we'll talk about Marvel and stuff another one, but I wouldn't like to say, I think Pirates of the Caribbean would make a lot of sense to be next, but then I can't help but wonder if they did, why would it make sense with the movie coming out in June? They could kind of tie in and say, oh, the game's coming out in 2-3 months and coming out maybe September, October, something like that, and kind of, because they did it with Rogue One, they did it with other movies where they're not always straight out the bat at the same time. But like you say, Lego re-releases wouldn't surprise me for collections and stuff.
I would be kind of interested in seeing, like, if they did maybe a partial re-release and partial new game for Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, because they have the original Lego Pirates of the Caribbean game. Re-release it like they did the Harry Potter stuff, and then tack on movie 4 and movie 5 into that collection.
Lego 4 was in it, wasn't it? I think.
Honestly,
I have got it, and I'm pretty sure you're on the dock and you can pick the 4 movies.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
you just need the fifth level, and then we have a remastered version.
Yeah, so remaster the first 4, and then add on Dead Men Tell No Tales, or whatever it's called, and there you go. You've got a release for October, somewhere around there, somewhere early enough that the sales will start for the Christmas rush.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw that on there. It depends what they do with the Marvel and Star Wars, but let's worry about that later. Other Disney games and stuff, like you were saying about like re-releases, I think Nintendo, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some of the classic stuff from the NES and the SNES and Mega Drive, etc., released on the Switch. You know, DuckTales, Aladdin, Jungle Book, things like that. You know, things we've seen before. Whether or not we see the Afternoon Collection confirmed for Switch, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a full virtual console and just did something completely different on that.
I would expect that they'll actually split it up and they'll put it on the virtual console individually. They'll probably make more money out of it that way because, you know, there might be people who just want to get DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2 because those were so hard to find, and they don't really feel any need to play DuckTales 1 again because they beat it 20 times as a kid.
Because that rewind feature was so cool. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see other older games, I mean, like Mario, you know, like Mickey Mouse's Racer. I think anything that involved old games where Disney can sort out licenses is a very high more possibility on this new virtual console, because the way they've re-released some of the content from PC on Star Wars games, the Aladdin Jungle Book from last year, the DuckTales, you know, they are looking at their back catalogue and trying to utilise it. So that's a good thing. As far as other Disney games, it would not surprise me, because usually we get games on the 3DS, so whether or not there'll be one or two drib drabs from what they were whatever company was working on before. We could even just get maybe some smaller titles that we, you know, things like we've seen like before, like with Tron Run, some little Disney games, some pinball, or I don't know if we're going to necessarily find out about this. I can't imagine any big announcement of any big AAA Disney game coming. I just don't know.
I mean, honestly, if Disney has a AAA game in the works, regardless if it's Marvel or Star Wars or Disney itself, they've got to want to hold it off to D23 because that is their platform. They will not be competing with anybody at D23. If they announce something at D23, it's not going to get overridden by... Well, Disney is doing a Magic Kingdom game where you can go through Disney World and save it from Maleficent, and then 10 seconds later, new Assassin's Creed, and now the news is no longer on the front page and it's gone completely. Yeah. So
it's only the fact for me, I'm thinking like of how like Disney have done like Magical World 2, Art Academy, you know, whether or not they even start porting games or sort of franchising out to bring... I would say like low-end games that they can release on all platforms. You know, that kind of thing. You know, of bringing some of these games to not necessarily just a Switch, but if they can, in some ways now it makes it a lot easier because the Switch not only is the handheld lower end, but they can also release that content on Xbox and PlayStation 4. Now, obviously, that does mean the price of it does go up, but the way that indie games are now. You know, I mean, obviously the Disney license pushed that up, but I still think like something like Tron Run was a perfect example of like almost like a small digital experience, which I think actually could work. You know, and it lowers the game down a little bit. You know, could they release a basic Coco game? Someone could be working on it, not necessarily Avalanche or something like that, and do something with it. And with these, because I believe all those franchises have been all up for grabs, and any different company can go to them and ask, you know, and basically pay them money. And it's been a year or so now since Disney Infinity, so the licenses will be coming through. But there's always been Nintendo have always done something with the 3DS, and I think the Switch could easily slide into something like that.
And I think we could see some of those puzzle games that are in their back catalog now start switching over, no pun intended, to the Switch, because... You know, it kind of lends itself to that. We could see Frozen Freefall number 2, the one that's the Peggle knockoff, because that actually translates to console very well, especially a console that's both portable and for your TV. The Inside Out Bubble game, etc. These all would translate very well, and I would not be surprised if Disney, you know, made announcements like, "Oh, we're going to port some of these over to Switch, see how they do, and if they do, then we could actually get." like this Beauty and the Beast game that we were talking about previously could end up on the Switch.
Yeah, and I also feel like if they do it on the Switch, it also does, like I said before, they can port it to Xbox and PlayStation in the same vein very, very easily because they're all on the same infrastructure. But it's that kind of weird thing of like, I'm not expecting any, like you say, I don't think from really Disney now in terms of AAA game, and I always think they're like AA rather than, you're looking at that mid-tier movie licensing. They're not got the Marvel and the Star Wars are where they're going for with that. The Disney stuff, they're just going to go back to movie friend like we're seeing with Cars 3. And I think, but this year, it doesn't really seem to be a lot now. But after Cars 3 for Disney, other than Coco, that's all they've really kind of got left to go for the rest of the year from the Disney side of things.
Right. I mean, there'll be a couple of things coming out on DVD towards the end of the year, which they might be able to kind of build off the back of. But if they haven't announced games for Beauty and the Beast and Pirates of the Caribbean by now, they're not going to be ready within the next few months.
Yeah. And I mean, whether or not they did like a Beauty and the Beast Lego game, that could be a thing. But it could be. But I would have expected an announcement or a trailer around the time the movie came out. But obviously, Pirates of the Caribbean is still another month away yet. So who knows? But I think that's probably going to wrap up our Disney side of the predictions. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below, or get in touch with all the different social medias. James, where can they find you at?
HeroicLegacy.com. That's the main place you can find me at.
Okay, and you can, as I say, you can find us on all the different social platforms. You can find us on all the video platforms such as Twitch, VidMe, and YouTube. You can also find the audio versions on iTunes, etc. So we're going to be doing some other episodes of predictions, so be sure to check us out over there, and we shall see you guys soon. Later.